ddos botnet or bot networks. Now, what is a botnet? A botnet refers to a group of computers which have been infected by malware and have come under the control of malicious actors. The term botnet came from the words robot and network, and each infected device is called a bot. Botnets can be designed to accomplish illegal or malicious tasks, including sending spam, stealing data, ransomware, fraudulently clicking on ads, or distributed denial of service attacks. How is a botnet controlled? Now, a core characteristic of botnet is the ability to receive updated instruction from the bot header. The ability to communicate with each bot in network or in the network allows the attacker to alternate attack vectors, change the targeted IP address, terminate an attack, and other customized actions. Botnet designs vary, but the control structures can be broken down into two general categories. The first one, which is the client-server botnet model. Now, the client-server model mimics the traditional remote workstation workflow, where each individual machine connects to a centralized server or small number of centralized servers in order to access information. And in this model, each bot will connect to a command and control center, which is CNC, called CNC, resource like a web domain or an IRC channel in order to receive instruction. Now, a web domain or an IRC channel in order to receive instruction by using these centralized repositories to serve up a new commands for the botnet, an attacker simply needs to modify the source material that each botnet consumes from a command center in order to update instruction to the infected machine. So the centralized server in control of the botnet, maybe it is a device owned and operated by the attacker, or it may be an infected device. So the first topology, actually, which is the star network topology for this client server, as you can see, bots, here we have bots, okay, and here is the server, which is the CNC server centralized. We have multi-server network topology, which is like this, but we don't have just a single CNC or a server. We have multiple server, okay. Also, we have the hierarchical network topology, which is we have the CNC server and we have bots, and these bots have bots, and so on. All right, cool. Now we have the other model, which is the peer-to-peer botnet. To circumvent the vulnerabilities of the client-server model, botnets have more recently been designed using components of decentralized peer-to-peer file sharing. Embedding the control structure inside the botnet eliminates the single point of failure present in a botnet with a centralized server, so making mitigation efforts more difficult, because this is a peer-to-peer after all, not like this client server. If the server go down, then the whole infrastructure go down. No, peer-to-peer. So we have a massive amount of infrastructure or nodes and works as, or devices, let's say, works as a botnet. Now, peer-to-peer bots can be both clients and command centers. So that's what makes peer-to-peer is very dangerous. So working hand in hand with their neighboring nodes to propagate data. Also, peer-to-peer botnets maintain a list of trusted computers with which they can give and receive communication and update their malware. By limiting the number of other machines the bot connects to, each bot is only exposed to adjacent devices, making it harder to track and more difficult to mitigate. Lacking a centralized command server makes a peer-to-peer botnet more vulnerable to control by someone other than the botnet's creator. To protect against loss of control, decentralized botnets are typically encrypted so that access is limited. Now here is a graph for the botnet peer-to-peer. As you can see, all of them is working either as a bot or as a CNC server. So that's what makes the peer-to-peer is very dangerous. So it's not just if we get rid of the CNC server, then everything go down. No, actually each device infected with this malware will act as CNC or as a bot, which is a huge problem we have here. Now, how can you protect your devices from becoming part of the botnet? The first thing, create a secure password. So for many vulnerable devices, reducing exposure to botnet vulnerability can be as simple as changing the administrative credentials to something other than the default username and password. And creating a secure password makes brute force cracking difficult. Creating a very secure password makes brute forcing cracking virtually impossible. The other way, allow only trusted execution of third-party code. If you adopt the mobile phone model of software execution, only allow application may run, granting more control to terminate software deemed as malicious, botnets included. So only an exploitation of the supervisor software or the kernel may result in exploitation of the device. Periodic system wipe restores. Restoring to known good state after a set time will remove any gunk a system has collected, botnet software included. The strategy, when used as preventative measure, ensures even slightly running malware gets thrown out with trash. Implement a good ingress and egress filtering. Other more advanced strategies include filtering practices at network router and firewalls. A principle of secure network design is layering. You have the least restriction around publicly accessible resources while continually beefing up